Hello, guys, and welcome to the BMC Sport Science podcast. In this episode, we'll be discussing multiple topics around mental health and tips and tricks on how you can implement them during lockdown. As today's the 4th of February, an organisation called Time to Change dedicate this day to what they like to call Time to Talk Day, in which it's encouraged to tackle the stigma around mental health and let people open up about their own mental health issues. Just to make everyone aware who's listening in, there will be multiple helplines at the end if anybody is struggling through this time. And there are also services available at the college through the student services if you do need to seek help. It's just important to note that within 1 in 8 young people, it is known that they struggle with mental health problems, and it's important that we do tackle that head on now. So just to give a brief background, my name's John Joe. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying a BSc in Sport Science, with my specialist dissertation area being in strength and conditioning. I also show a keen interest in rugby and plan on becoming a personal trainer. Joined with me today, we have 4 of my classmates. So firstly, Matt, if you'd just like to introduce yourself.
Cheers, John Joe. So I'm also age 20. My dissertation focuses looking into the eccentric training and the effects on fatigue in youth athletes. My sport is rugby, and I play for my local team, Samaritans. And my future aspirations are to become a personal trainer.
Cheers, Matt. Next up, we have Jason. If you'd just like to give us a brief background, mate.
Yeah, cheers, John Joe. So my name's Jason. My specialist area, I'm also interested in strength and conditioning. And my sport currently is football. Currently, I'm playing for Mansfield Town.
Cheers, Jason. Lewis, if you'd just like to give us a brief background, mate.
Hi, I'm Lewis. I'm 21, and my specialised area is coaching. I'm looking at the different coaching techniques with enjoyment levels at youth football. And for career aspirations, I would like to be a PE teacher.
That's great. And Luke, if you'd just like to introduce yourself.
Yep, so I'm Luke, I'm 21, and my sport is football. I'm currently not playing for anyone. My specialist area for my DIS is sports analysis, and hopefully one day I can become a PE teacher.
Cheers, Luke. So obviously during this time we are in a lockdown. So Matt, I'd just like to ask how you're finding this third lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not easy. So I think it's important that we first identify this lockdown. In my own opinion, it's the hardest lockdown yet. And the reason why I feel like that is because obviously during the first lockdown, we had the warm weather to occupy us. With the second lockdown, we had Christmas and the festive season to look forward to. Whereas now we don't really have anything to really look forward to, with it obviously being winter as well. The nights are dark, it's cold outside, which obviously means it's hard to get out. So we've obviously been in these COVID guidelines for nearly a year now, and it is known that people are struggling with feeling low and anxious. With it difficult to stay positive during these times.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. I don't know if anyone else wants to share their own experiences during like the whole of the lockdown, like not even just this third one.
Yeah, I definitely think that this lockdown has been the hardest of all of them. Obviously, I think that during the first lockdown, it was kind of new to everyone. Everyone didn't really understand it. But I feel like because it was before summer, everyone still had something to look forward to. Same with the second one, everyone still had something to look forward to Christmas. So, there was something ahead of us. But with this third one, being in the middle of winter, you don't really want to be going outside too much, with the weather and that. And summer seems a long way away. So I agree with Matt. I think this lockdown is definitely the hardest.
Yeah, I think you've both pretty much hit the nail on the head there, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know, Matt, you said we both showed interest in being a personal trainer. And I understand like exercising is important to your life as well as probably many other people's. I don't know if you just wanted to talk about how important exercise is to you and also how beneficial it can be to other people.
Yeah, so in terms of exercise, it's Obviously, a great way of increasing your mood and lowering anxiety. Now, it is known that there is a reduced amount of people who are staying physically active compared to lockdown one. Maybe because of some of the reasons that I've just mentioned earlier, me and Jason mentioned. But obviously, from my own experience, exercise is a great way of both improving my self-esteem, self-image, but it also allows me to get into that positive mood. And the reason for this, which I found out, was from Tyson Fury's most recent book called The Furious Method. Now the book's a great book if you are feeling low or anxious, and it will give you some more tips and tricks on how to deal with these. But basically, the book explains the science behind the exercise and why it increases mood and lowers anxiety. And what it says is that when we are feeling low or down, our body produces less dopamine, which in turn will reduce the stress chemical called cortisol. Now, when we exercise, it decreases our cortisol level, therefore creating more dopamine, forcing us to feel better, more alert, and more engaged. So yeah, I guess that's obviously the science behind exercising. But it doesn't, have to be a HIIT workout or heavy weights or anything. It can simply be going out for a walk or doing some light body weight exercises at home. And I think that's the important thing to mention, because people can obviously get into that perception that exercise, it must be hard, it must be, exhausting, and that's not always the case.
No, that's understandable. If I was going to add anything to that, to be fair, it's like you see all over Instagram all these people with weights and resistance bands all over their Instagram, and really, like you've said, it can just be going out on a brisk walk, even taking your dog on a walk if you've got a dog, or just getting out of the house.
Absolutely. That's it. It's about getting out of the house as well. I think that's the big thing in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jason, obviously, you said you were well, obviously playing football at the minute. Obviously, I understand it's with Mansfield Town. If you just wanted to share with us how lockdown has affected your training schedule, and also how you managed to get over that wall to find your own motivation.
Yeah. So during the first lockdown, unfortunately, that was when all sport was ceased. So I was actually given some sort of like training schedule. This consisted of like lots of like there was quite a lot of runs, so there was like 4 or 5 runs every week. These runs were normally like it'd be like 5K runs with some sprints afterwards. And we also received like a couple of home workouts that we had to do each week. So it was mainly like circuit training, stuff like that, just to keep on top of like our bodies and try not to put on too much fat and stuff like that. I actually found it was actually difficult in the first lockdown, mainly because I think most people agree, like I was just running around fields, just running around the field or running down roads, doing 5Ks pretty much every day. I don't really enjoy running. So I did find it difficult, especially to stay motivated. It was difficult. So I think one way I got through it, I definitely was like goal setting. Like gave myself targets and objectives, because I think without goals, like it's just there's no motivation there. Another thing was I tried to think about the benefits, what I would get out of it. So obviously, I just kept telling myself like you don't want to lose fitness, like you want to stay fit, and also use longer term goals to look at myself and think, where do you want to be in 6 months to a year? Will putting in this work now, will that help you get there? So yeah, definitely in the first lockdown it was tough, but I think that goal setting and stuff like that can really help me get through it. Fortunately, in the second lockdown, third lockdown, elite sport was allowed to continue. So I did feel pretty privileged with that, still being able to train. It it gave me something to work towards still. Still let me do the thing that I love. So I was very grateful of that. In terms of the differences with training and stuff, obviously with COVID and that, just getting quite a few COVID tests a week just to make sure, stay safe, you know. So yeah, definitely these second and third lockdowns, I do feel pretty privileged, just to be able to continue to do my thing that I love. And I know quite a few people have struggled, but for those of you that are interested in football, I'd recommend just getting out there, you know, just get a ball, go down the field, and just have a kick around, you know, because there's nothing more if you love football than just getting out there. So that's definitely what I'd recommend.
Yeah, I think, sorry to interrupt, I was just going to say, I think that's one thing that people probably should understand, like, there is no reason why we can't get out of our homes and walk somewhere, like, even if it's not in a field, even if it's just on your local park, like the concrete around, just kind of getting a ball. I mean, obviously, as being a rugby player, there's not a lot we can do, but I understand with football that you've probably got quite a lot you can do.
Yeah, you know, all you need is a ball, really, maybe a wall, and you can practice on your own. So yeah, I just suggest just try and do anything just to keep yourself mentally occupied. I'd say that's the best way that I've managed to cope through these lockdowns.
Yeah, cheers for sharing that. I know you said about goal setting. I don't know if you just wanted to elaborate on that, Matt, because I know, obviously coming from a personal training background, I know that's quite a big part of personal training is setting goals for not only yourself but for clients as well.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, Jace touched on it a bit. Now, goal settings is really to stay motivated and stay on track. So by setting yourself, you know, these goals, they don't have to be fitness related, sports related. They can be just general goals. So a good way of doing this is by using an acronym called SMART. Now, SMART, so the S stands for specific. So the goal has to be specific to you, which will in itself keep you on track. The M stands for measurable. So with measures, it will allow you to, again, stay on track. This is a key word in staying on track, but it will also keep you excited. So you will notably see your progress. So A is achievable. So the goal's got to be attainable, and it's got to be realistic for the success to occur. R is relevant. So it needs to matter to you, and it also needs to link back to, you know, any other goals, any longer term goals. You need to link up with that. And then the last one is T, which is time. So target dates will help to reassure your attention, and it will mean you can work towards something. So in doing it, just touching a bit more on it and the benefits that goal setting will allow you to do, you know, we spoke about increasing motivation, which has obviously been so hard during these times, but it will also give you a purpose, you know, to go out and go get it. And it will just give you a clearer focus on your future, because some of us could be here at the moment thinking, you know, where is life taking us at the moment? So goals, I'd really recommend, if you are feeling like that, you know, go sit down, get a piece of paper, get a pen, have a couple of hours and just write down your goals and just make some goals and use the acronym SMART. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably share one of my own experiences through this. Obviously, we've all mentioned in the first lockdown and it being in the summer, a few of us probably enjoyed a few beers, and me, I probably enjoyed a few too many.
Yeah.
I was buying, well, a crate of Budweiser, about 20 of them a week, and getting through them quite easily. And obviously that made me put on a bit of weight. I never really felt great in myself, because obviously I just kept on putting weight until I finally decided, like, it's probably time to make a change. And you start setting yourself goals, and I set myself to lose a stone in 6 weeks. And well, by the time it came to those 6 weeks, I did manage to drop that off me. Obviously, I did have a bit of help along the way, and I think that's one big thing that we should all remember. And everyone can probably quote me on this: is the more people, well, it's not the more people you've got, but those people that are around you are the ones that are really going to benefit from you. Like, really try and surround yourself with those positive people. Because, well, not only yourself is going to make a difference, it's going to probably make them feel good for helping you as well. But just go back to the lockdown. Obviously, there's all been students with experienced home learning. I don't know if anyone else would like to talk about that. Lewis, if you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so from working from home, obviously our group has been working from home since basically the start of it, haven't we, really? So
since last March, really.
It?
Yeah, so at the start, obviously, it wasn't too bad because it was something new. Obviously, it's the best thing to do, like health-wise, being safe. And but I think after a while, it did just go all into one. Basically, I just going through the motions with the days, like waking up, not really setting myself anything like a routine. Just wake up, get my laptop up, do my work, and then basically that's it. But so that's begun to like take a toll on my learning experience. But more recently, I've got myself like a routine to wake up at a certain amount of time, give myself enough time to get ready, to have breakfast, to get prepared for the day. I think that's really helped, like getting my mindset in the right mood to work. Because obviously, it can be quite difficult if you are working from home all the time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that starting the day in the best way possible, sets you up for the rest of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
If you just sort of like lying around in bed for like most of the morning, you have no energy really, no motivation to get up and out. So I definitely think you're on something there, Lewis.
Yeah.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and I can probably I can quote Middleton here, because obviously through the lockdown I started reading a few books, and one of them was by Ant Middleton, and he was saying about giving yourself a reason to get up in the morning. He said not just get like laying in bed all day and waiting for something to happen. Like, give yourself a reason to get out of bed, and once you're out of bed, do something straight away. Even if it's literally getting out of your bed, opening your blinds and making your bed, you've still started off your day right. So
yeah, definitely.
Again, like Lewis, like you said, it's just about finding that routine. I don't know if anyone else wanted to share any tips or tricks that's helped them find any motivation, but I think Lewis, you pretty much smacked it right on the head there.
I'd like to add something, John Joe. If I don't know if you're going to mention about it, Lewis, but one thing that I've started doing is, say the day before, started writing down what I want to do the next day, and I find that again gives me a clear focus on what I'm doing the next day, and it allows me to it motivates me. I want to get up. I want to get them things done. So again, that's another tip really that I would say is writing what needs to be done down on a piece of paper, because you can see it then, instead of just throw it to the back of your mind. You can see it on a piece of paper, and to me it's so much more powerful doing it that way. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree. Yeah.
That's quite similar to the SMART targets, for like the fitness stuff. If you can set them for your education as well, that would give you motivation to get the most out of your day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got something as well. One thing I did to help with home learning, I actually deactivated social media for a while. One of the main reasons was just because I just sometimes found myself at home, and if I had my phone near me while I was trying to do work, I was just scrolling through just loads of like garbage for hours, and it was really like affecting concentration and stuff like that. Another reason I think that it could be a big problem is I was actually scrolling through stuff and it was just so unrealistic. Like, it was just like all these influences and stuff like that. And I think it makes you feel worse, especially if you're feeling a bit down and then you see all these people and it's like they're supposed to be like happy all the time, and they look like they're having the best time of their life. And I think it's just so unrealistic. It can make you feel worse. So yeah, that's just one thing I did. I think it can be dangerous, social media. I think it's okay to understand, like, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. Not all this fake life. Sometimes it's like, everyone has their bad days. It's not always going to be like having the time of your life. So that's just something I did.
No, cheers for sharing that, everyone. It's more for the listeners, really. If anyone is really struggling with anything, we're just here to give these tips. Obviously, I'd save the best one till last. I understand during the lockdown, Luke, you went through a bit of a rough patch, and I know everyone else is aware what happened, and if you're all right with it, if you just like to open up about what actually happened and how it affected you, and just a little bit on how you managed to cope with it, really.
Yeah, of course, no worries about that. That's fine. So mine was kind of in the summertime where I became ill the week that pre-season started with the Brooksby Mountain College under-21 team. And I normally really enjoy pre-season. It gives you a chance to kind of cut your body down, get a bit fit, feel a bit stronger, and feel better in yourself. And this was when lockdown was eased at the time, when we could see family and friends a bit. Obviously not as well as we could, but so I fell ill with appendicitis, which is a rupture of your appendix. And it just started with excruciating pain, sickness, couldn't eat and stuff like that. So, but I found out when I got to hospital, mine was a very bad rupture. And the surgeons who did my operation, because I had to get it removed, said that it was one of, if not the worst that they had seen during their time operating on appendicitis and stuff like that. When I was in hospital, lockdown made it very, very hard to see family, because obviously COVID, people weren't allowed in, it wasn't allowed visitors, which it made it really tough, because I'm a family man. I love being around people. I love socializing. I love being with my friends, my girlfriend. It's family, like family and stuff. So yeah, it was tough, and it felt the days were really long, and obviously you feel lonely. And I could tell you that the food didn't help when I was in there. So when I was in, I just kept having negative thoughts, because they had to cut 3 holes in me, and I thought, how is this going to affect me, my self-image and stuff like that? Because I didn't think they were attractive, as in for my girlfriend to look at and just think. I was thinking, is she still going to find me attractive, stuff like that? Which at the time you think it's the worst thing, but when you think of it now, it's just minor. It's just a small thing, really. And so I came out of hospital 5 days after my operation, and they said there was a very, very slim chance that I'd have to come back to hospital. But after 4 to 5 days of being out of hospital, feeling a lot better, being around friends and family, I became ill again, and I had to go back to hospital. And then I found out that my wound had become infected, and there was actually a 5% chance of this happening. And furthermore, they normally would perform a second operation to remove this, but mine wasn't in the correct area to be operated on. If I was able to have the second operation, I would have been able to leave in 2 to 3 days, which wouldn't have been too bad. But because I couldn't, I had to stay in for 4 to 5 days. Again, I felt lonely, bored, or stuff. The days were so long. But then after them 4 to 5 days, I came out of hospital and I was back at home. And when I came to hospital, I just look at myself and think, I've lost a lot of mass, muscle and weight, stuff like that. And when I was just looking at myself, I thought, I just don't look great, and my self-image went down a lot. I didn't feel good in myself at all. So, but normally I'm normally the strong one who hardly shows any negative feelings to anyone. I'm normally the one that's there for people when they need to. But it's not that I can't trust my friends and my family. I know I can, but you don't want to feel like a burden as such. Because I know a lot of people that I've spoken to, and I'm sure people on this call, and I'm sure a lot of you listening could relate to that. And it's not that you don't trust them, it's just that you think you're better keeping it to yourself, and that's all I've done, really. But I opened up. I managed to open up. I spoke to my girlfriend, my family, and my friends, and they made me feel so much better about myself. And they helped me and pushed me to make a change. Basically, they encouraged me to start exercising gradually, such as just going on walks, even for 10 minutes and stuff like that. Just building myself up, getting fresh air, and just to build up the amount of exercise that I did daily. As said by Matt and a few others in this podcast, there are loads of benefits to going out and exercising, as Matt has stated. But yeah, that's basically my story, as in how my mental health deteriorated over a certain amount of time, and just a step that I did that helped me enormously, just opening up. It's like they say, a problem shared is a problem halved, and I think I can relate to that. It's not just one of them corny things to say. It is true. But yeah, since then I found the motivation. I'm going out much more, and I'm trying to make myself how I want now. So yeah, that's basically my story to that.
No, I definitely agree with a lot of what you've said there, Luke, especially about in that last bit about a problem shared is a problem half. I think that's one thing I'd like to kind of close this whole conversation off with, is that we're sat here talking now. There's no reason why no one else can get out and start talking to people. I mean, it's wise to like pick the right people who are going to have that positive effect on you. So, like Luke said, if it's family, or if it's your close friends, or if it's your girlfriend or your partner, or whoever it might be, don't be scared to sort of reach out for that help, because at the end of the day, they're not there to judge you, and if they do, then clearly they're not the right person. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything to just close any of this off.
I'm just gonna add, it's like you said with your weight loss. You reached out to Matt, who's a friend that knows what he's doing, he knows what he's talking about, and he's motivated you. Because like you said, in the first lockdown, you struggled loads, but you looked at yourself and you wasn't happy. And you spoke to Matt, who was more than willing to help, and he's made you a lot happier in yourself as well as you have.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, I can't thank him enough for that. So, but like I say, if anyone else wants to add anything to just close it off, feel free.
So I definitely think that, you know, like especially in tough times, like relationships with your closest ones, like you never know if you say you are struggling and you do open up to a friend, like you never know, they might be struggling as well. So you could actually be helping them too, as well as helping yourself. So I think that, like, especially in these times, like just trying to make like the most of the relationships with the people close to you is definitely one of the positives that can come from lockdown, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a little quote I took from the Time to Change website, and it just says your attitude to mental health could change someone's life. And I think it's definitely wise to just hold that to yourself and for other people, because you never know what people are going through, and one wrong word, it could affect their whole life. So it's definitely just a take home point to just be there for people. And again, we'll post all the helplines and the health services for mental health, because I think that's a massive thing for people to just be able to have something to relate to, if it's a website or if it's a phone call with someone, when you are struggling, it's just someone to relate back to. But I just kind of like to thank everyone for listening in, and again, just don't forget to check the helplines if you do need it, and obviously with the student services, whatever college you're at, don't be scared to just step up and take that step. And yeah, we'll all see you next week for our next episode.